You are here in conjunction with the Cleveland Chamber Symphony, however, and you've got an event coming up after the cold spell.
That's right. It'll be spring by that time. We're hoping. Yes, we have a very exciting event coming up. We have focused our activity this season into creating something new for Cleveland. It's called NEOSonicFest, and it's basically a 10-day festival that is pulling together several different performers and organizations involved in new music in Cleveland, and with the idea that there is so much that goes on in Cleveland in terms of new music, and to provide an opportunity for these groups to come together and for audiences to have a very concentrated opportunity to hear a wide variety of performances.
We'll be hearing local performers who are involved with new music, and will there be a component of local composers?
There will. That's always been a major part of the mission, going back to Ed London's stewardship, founding of this illustrious group, and through its entire history. There will be a focus on that, in particular an activity which has been an integral part of Chamber Symphony, the Young and Emerging Composers Project, in which student composers are invited to submit works, and they're played and played in concert. We're also fortunate to be cooperating with the three of the major music departments in the region, from Case Western Reserve to Cleveland State to Baldwin-Wallace. We're going to be giving performances in locations on each of their campuses, and there will be a wide range. The Chamber Symphony will open and close the festival. We're opening on March 28th at Drinko Hall at CSU with a concert that is in tribute to Ed London, and that's a very exciting event. And then we'll close the festival with a program at Baldwin-Wallace.
Ed London was the founding director of the Cleveland Chamber Symphony many years ago, and he went on to have a huge career. He was well known internationally, though perhaps not as well known in his own town, but highly respected, and a great composer as well.
Absolutely.
We look forward to hering some of his music on these programs.
A great raconteur, a lover of puns. Anybody who knew Ed would never forget Ed. And of course, he passed away
just about a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago, a little over that, and so it is certainly been in our plans ever since that to do something in his honor, and in a way, this whole festival kind of grew out of that. This idea that Ed was part of an extraordinary legacy of new music in Northeast Ohio, and this is a way of paying tribute to him through this performance, but also bringing together these different institutions.
Also involved at CSU is Howie Smith, who will be involved in this NEOSonicFest.
Correct. Yeah, he's going to be performing a solo performance with surround electronic. It's a surround sound concert piece that he has developed, and he'll be presenting that as part of the festival. We're also really fortunate to have two other groups. The Ensemble HD, the Happy Dog Ensemble, will be performing actually at Harkness Chapel on the Case campus, and the 5-1 Experimental Orchestra.
Tell us a bit about that. I'm not familiar with
this. This is a group. It's a collective of composers, really, with a connection to CIM. Jeremy Allen is on our board and is serving as one of the founders and performers of that orchestra. They're doing an event at the Screw Factory in Lakewood, in a kind of non-traditional setting. And of course, we're still finalizing a lot of the repertoire for some of these performances. But they're another one of the groups. And the other performance I should mention is an organ recital by Jonathan Moyer at Church of the Covenant, and it will feature music of Messiaen, Ned Rorem, and other composers.
Organ is often overlooked as an instrument, at least by audiences, for modern music. We usually think of Bach and the Kista Whistles Clan and people like that. But there's plenty of modern music written for organ, and the organ seems uniquely capable of handling some unusual sonorities. It's the synthesizer of its day, if you will.
That's very well said. I think Jonathan is somebody who actually has a foot in both worlds. He's a lover and performer of Baroque music, like Bach, and yet he has this great love of the new repertoire.
You'll also be featuring some video art components from the Cleveland Institute of Art. Tell us about that.
Well, we're still working on that component. That may not be a part of this festival. What we're really excited about is that as we've had discussions around the community, both in terms of fundraising and developing different performance venues, we've had a great deal of interest for additional collaborations and activities, which we will hope to continue to build with each new festival in the future. This should put, I think, this part of the Cleveland music community on the map internationally.
You've been involved with the Chamber Symphony for how long now?
I guess it must be about 9 years now.
And you've kept that ensemble alive over these years. It was originally at CSU, and now it stands on its own to a large degree, and it's a really wonderful thing that you've done with that.
Well, thank you. It's also important to recognize the core group of musicians who really fought to keep it alive in some really tough days after Ed's departure. And we've also had some really dedicated board personnel as well, and particularly our current board president, Rich Reinhardt, who works tirelessly to help these things come about.
Do you have any players in your current lineup from the old orchestra?
Oh, absolutely.
Looking for continuity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this was one of the reasons that the orchestra has continued. It would have been very easy just to sort of let it expire with Ed's era, and yet there were a significant group of players, many of whom had been involved from the very beginning, who understood the importance of this group to the worldwide music community, and really fought to keep it alive. And that's when I was invited to become a part of it. I had worked with these musicians who are just extraordinary in their expertise at this repertoire particularly, and it's been a very exciting collaboration. We've added some people over the years, but we still have a great nucleus of people who had worked with Ed and had been a part of the orchestra from its very early years.
It's a marvelous thing. We're talking with Stephen Smith, music director of the Cleveland Chamber Symphony, about the upcoming NEOSonicFest this spring here in Cleveland, 10 days from March 28th to April 6th. Flip over a few pages in your desk calendar and mark it on there. A number of locations, including Drinko Hall at Cleveland State University and Baldwin Wallace University in Berea. Make sure you set aside some time for that. All kinds of performances by the Cleveland Chamber Symphony, other artists, including Ensemble HD, Cleveland's 5-1 experimental organ, Howie Smith, Jonathan Moyer, contemporary organ recital. Verb Ballets may be involved?
Verb is involved, very definitely.
They're definitely on?
Yeah, they have been a wonderful partner the last several years, and they're just a wonderful troupe that's doing in the dance world what we do in the music world. So it's a very logical kind of connection. We'll be adding information as the spring comes on our website, both clevelandchambersymphony.org and also NEOSonicFest.org.
That's NEOSonicFest.org. NEO is in Northeast Ohio.
Exactly. And new.
Yes, there you go. Thanks for coming to talk with us today, Steve.
My pleasure.
Best of luck with the festival this spring.
Thank you very much.